Welcome to Luntha TV News. I'm Kathy Matura, live from the Bishop Navy Media Center here in Lilongwe. In this period of anticipation, after casting votes on the 16th of September, we are committed to bringing you verified information grounded in the values of truth, justice, and the common good that are central to our faith. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV encourages religious to respond to modern needs. Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum condemns attempts to undermine Malawi's September 16 election. Observers flag election challenges but commends make for managing violence-free elections. In continental news, Guinea reaches final day of referendum campaign with opposition missing. And now we give you the news in detail. We start with the news from the Holy See, where Pope Leo XIV has urged members of 4 major religious institutions to observe and respond to the realities of today's world, just as their founders once did in their time. Speaking during a special audience at the Vatican, the Pope reminded the religious leaders that their congregations were born from deep awareness of societal needs, guided by courage and sacrifice. More details in this Vatican report.
Pope Leo XIV reflected on the legacy of the founders of various religious congregations, describing them as individuals who were deeply attuned to the needs of their time and willing to make great personal sacrifices and service to others. Following his address, Pope Leo moved into the crowd, where he personally greeted many of the religious present. Some of them presented him with artwork, which he received warmly. Later in the day, Pope Leo XIV met with members of the Mexican Episcopal Conference. The cardinal surprised the Pope with gifts that reflected their cultural heritage and devotion. Among the offerings were decorative plates, traditional ponchos, and art pieces, each featuring the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the revered patroness of Mexico and the Americas. One notable artwork bore an inscription on the back that read, Our Lady of Guadalupe blesses and protects Pope Leo XIV. The most symbolic of the gifts was a finely woven Our Lady of Guadalupe poncho, presented to the Pope in recognition of his own roots in Latin America, especially his native Peru.
Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum CSEIF chairperson Benedicto Kondoe has strongly condemned any attempts to undermine the credibility of the September 16th general election, warning that such actions threaten Malawi's democratic gains. Speaking during a press conference in Lilongwe, Kondoe reminded political players and stakeholders that the will of the people must be respected, adding that the sanctity of the ballot remains the cornerstone of democracy. Here is Bridget Mwanoka.
Kondoe further urged the Malawi Electoral Commission to uphold transparency in vote tallying and result management, while calling on citizens to remain calm as the official results are being finalized. He also highlighted that CSEF has been monitoring the electoral process from voter registration to polling day, noting that the forum area warned the September 16 vote would be a make-or-break moment for Malawi's democracy. He stressed that the final outcome rests in the hands of voters and called on all parties to accept results and reflect the true will of the people.
Our observation is that we are in a period where political parties are claiming victory when the official results have not yet been announced, and we believe that that has the potential to instigate violence, where those that claim to be winning would you make to be sitting in the space where they ought to celebrate, where sometimes they would perceive the delay as intended, not for them to assume power. So we believe that those developments.
Kondowe stressed the need for careful validation of tallies, transparent reconciliation of data, and thorough investigation of any irregularities before a final declaration is made. He also warned the political parties against inciting violence or spreading propaganda, describing such acts as a direct attack on Malawi's democratic values. CSF has further called on the Malawi Police Service and the Malawi Defense Force to maintain law and order while urging political leaders to exercise restraint and guard their supporters toward peace. Bridget Mwanoka, Luntha News.
European Union observers have hailed Malawi elections as competitive but have cited misuse of state resources and biased media coverage. The European Union Election Observer Mission has released its preliminary report on Malawi's 2025 general elections held on September 16th. The mission described the polls as competitive and largely peaceful, but pointed out serious gaps in campaign equity and media balance. In their press statement, the observers said voting day was peaceful, orderly, and transparent, with procedures followed in most places. Their monitors assessed the conduct of voting positively in 99% of the 359 polling stations visited across the country. However, they flagged shortcomings in the counting process, which they described as less well organized and less transparent. Robert Edward reports.
The EU mission noted that the campaign period was pluralist and calm, but constrained by limited resources. Opposition parties struggled to match. The ruling party allegedly struggled to match the Malawi Congress Party's spending power as campaign financing remains unregulated, where their candidates, including incumbents, were able to campaign without restrictions. In their press statement, the observers accused state media, especially the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC), for biasness. On voter participation, the EU highlighted that 7.2 million Malawians registered to vote, representing 65.7% of the voting age population, well lower than the 2019 rate. The observers found no evidence of systematic suppression. Technology also drew controversy. The EU report noted that late introduction of biometric voter verification devices and the refusal of an independent audit undermined confidence. While the High Court allowed their use, it ruled that paper processes would prevail for official results. Despite the concerns, the observers praised Malawians for exercising fundamental freedom during the campaign. They reported no widespread political violence, though they cited broad lines between official government functions and campaign events such as inaugurations and installation of traditional leaders. The EU mission, which deployed 110 observers across all 28 districts, stressed that this is only a preliminary statement. A final report, recommendations for electoral reforms, will be released after the completion of results tabulation and any legal challenge. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
You are watching news live on Luntha TV. We take a short break. Stay with us.
Mwaswera Grace.
Ndaswera kaino maive.
Mwagula mabuku kodi?
Ayi ndabwereka ku library.
Kodi yakope ni secondary school so mmatha kugwiritsa ntchito library ya school?
Ndichina chilichonsetu. Library, labu ya science, ya ICT, komanso maphunziro amakono apa phone, tablet, computer ndi digital learning. timagwiritsa ntchito notesmaster.com. Ndi chimodzimodzi lophunzira aliyense wa ku secondary school ya boma.
Izi zili ndiye zosangalatsa. Maphunziro apamwamba ndithu. Aiviri pachasana sankhidwe ndini madankhapa kuti kodi kadi ndipanga bwanji.
Etu, ife tonse amene tinakhonza mayeso a 8 koma sitinasankhidwe kupita ku secondary, munasiyira sukulu ya secondary panjira, kapena mukufuna kutsitsa ma points, dziwani kuti unduna wa maphunziro a primary ndi secondary unakhazikitsa maphunziro a open secondary schools ngati njira imodzi yowonjezera mwayi wa maphunziro apamwamba kudzera msukulu za secondary za m'madera athu kumene kuli aphunzitsi odziwa ntchito yawo bwino komanso zipangizo zapamwamba zoyenera pa maphunziro. Musazengereze, kalembetseni lero ku open secondary school ya mdera lanu kuti mupeze maphunziro apamwamba.
Uthengawu akukupatsirani ndi aunduna wa maphunziro aku primary ndi secondary kudzera ku Equals Project ndi thandizo la ndalama lochokera ku World Bank.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Luntha TV News and I'm Kathy Matura. But before we proceed, here's a recap of the top stories. Pope Leo XIV encourages religious to respond to modern needs. Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum condemns attempts to undermine Malawi's September 16 election. Observers flag election challenges but commends make for managing violence-free elections. In continental news, Guinea reaches final day of referendum campaign with opposition missing. Moving on, the September 16th general election is once again exposed how Malawi's education sector is disrupted during political processes, raising calls for long-term reforms to safeguard learners' rights. Education expert Ben Navicha noted that the involvement of teachers in electoral duties and the use of classrooms as registration and polling centers left many students without proper learning spaces. He argued that while elections are essential for democracy, they often come at the cost of children's education. We will give you a report in our subsequent bulletins. Still on elections, the flow of election results into the National Tally Center at the Bingu International Conference Center BICC in Lilongwe has gained momentum, with more constituencies and councils submitting their tallies. As of this afternoon, the second batch of figures has arrived from 11 areas across the country. These include Luchenza, Mwanza, Nchewu, Karonga, Kasungu Municipal, Nkatabe, Zomba City, Likoma, Tiolo, Balaka, and Zomba District. Fales Chizombe has filed this report.
The Malawi Electoral Commission has clarified that these results remain unofficial until formally verified and endorsed. According to the Commission, the figures currently reaching the Tally Center represent raw submissions from various polling streams that must undergo rigorous checks before being declared as official outcomes. This verification process, MEC says, ensures transparency and accuracy in reflecting the will of the people. Among the results being delivered are those for members of parliament, local government councils, and presidential candidates. The tallying process has been described as steady, with the officials noting that logistical challenges have so far been minimal. However, MEC continues to caution stakeholders and public against rushing to draw conclusions from preliminary trends, emphasizing that only certified announcements carry legal weight. The arrival of results at the national level has already created heated anticipation across the political spectrum. Supporters of different parties have been closely following updates, and social media platforms have been buzzing with commentary. Observers say the atmosphere in Lilongwe remains calm but expectation to rise as more constituencies figures are processed and released in the coming days. Election monitors and civil society representatives stationed at the Tari Center have commended MEC for maintaining regular communication about the progress of the results. They argue that such openness is crucial to reducing speculation and preventing misinformation, which could otherwise distort the electoral process. The monitors further reiterated calls for political leaders and supporters to exercise patience. As the process continues, MEC is expected to hold scheduled press briefings to provide verified updates and clarified developments. The Commission has reassured Malawians that it remains committed to delivering a credible election by ensuring every result is properly scrutinized before being declared. The next 48 hours are anticipated to be particularly significant as the volume of incoming results increases. Reporting for Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Fales Chizombe.
We move on to sports news, where the Football Association of Malawi FAM has partnered with the Gift of the Givers Foundation by donating medical-grade silicone menstrual cups worth 100 million kwacha. During a press conference in Luntha, Ms. Sherifa Mia, the country director for the Gift of the Givers Foundation, announced that the partnership will last for 2 years and will include the distribution of 2,000 Mina menstrual hygiene caps. Maslin Matura, the project coordinator, affirmed the foundation's support for the girl child, adding that the package will empower all footballers affiliated to FAM across the country. Patrick Pupa gives us more.
Following the partnership with the Football Association of Malawi FAM, Ms. Sherifa Mia highlighted that 2,000 Mina silicone menstrual hygiene caps will be distributed to women footballers across the country. Mia emphasized that these menstrual hygiene caps will help build confidence among women footballers, empowering them to play without fear.
So as Gift of the Givers, we are also a partner in South Africa with the Mina Foundation. And this partner, we are looking at providing sustainable hygiene, menstrual hygiene management to our girls across Africa, not just in Malawi, but also this program is in other countries in Africa.
After receiving the donation from the Gift of Givers Foundation, Fleetwood Haya, the president of the Football Association of Malawi FAM, expressed satisfaction, noting that this initiative will significantly impact women's football in Malawi.
Indeed, this is beyond partnership, as I earlier on indicated, because you can see the impact and even the thoughtful of this generosity is something that one would be like, how did Gift of Givers thought about this? Because this is not just maybe helping our girl child, but it also giving confidence to our girl child, is restoring the dignity to our girl child, but also giving the opportunity to our girl child to play football or to play the game that they like confidently. And indeed, we believe that by doing the same, that is within our core values as FAM, because we preach inclusivity, we preach the well-being of the player, we preach empowerment. This donation is covering all those elements that are within our core mandates as Football Association of Malawi.
A total of 350 players in the NBM Women's Premiership, 720 players in the regional division leagues, all levels of the national women's teams, and girls at the Luinga Technical Center Football Academy in Mzuzu will benefit from this generous donation from the Gift of Givers Foundation. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Pupa.
In news from the continent, Guinea's capital buzzed with activity as campaigning closed Thursday ahead of a referendum that could let the coup leader seat the presidency. Quran readings, reggae concerts and prayers were held in support of Keno Mamad Doumbouya, the military leader who took power through a coup in Guinea 3 years ago. Public and private buildings in Conakry were plastered with campaign billboards. More details in this Africa News report read by Charity Chilanga.
Roads were blocked by trucks filled with supporters wearing t-shirts and bobs, traditional West African flowing garments printed with Du Bois' face. Only one thing was missing: the opposition. All the campaign billboards and events urged people to vote in one way. Yes, the citizens of this coastal West African country will cast either yes or no ballots on Sunday on a draft constitution, the key step in a transition from military toward civilian rule. No campaigning is allowed on Friday and Saturday. A presidential election is expected to follow in December. There are 6.7 million eligible voters, and the referendum needs a voter turnout of at least 50% to pass.
That Africa News report special on the referendum that could let the coup leader seek the presidency, read by Charity Chilanga, brings us to the end of this bulletin at this hour. But before I sign out, here is a recap of the top stories. Pope Leo XIV encourages religious to respond to modern needs. Civil Society Elections Integrity Forum condemns attempts to undermine Malawi's September 16 election. Observers flag election challenges but comments make for managing violence-free elections. In continental news, Guinea reaches final day of referendum campaign with opposition missing. That concludes our bulletin at this hour. As our nation is in a period that calls for profound patience and trust in the lawful process, we encourage all Malawians and our leaders to act with responsibility, to reject violence, and to prioritize the unity and stability of our country above all else. We at Luntha TV, in line with the teachings of the Church, pray for a peaceful conclusion to this process. We pray that the final outcome will mark the beginnings of a renewed effort to address the pressing needs of all Malawians. Thank you for watching. I'm Kathy Matura. For everyone here at Luntha TV, may God bless Malawi. Goodbye for now.